Dee thank you for the $5 super sticker. Appreciate you guys. So welcome. I like doing interviews. I already told you this, all right? It's one of my guilty pleasures. You know, not only do I like to talk a lot of shit about people, if you can even call, let's, I put this up on the screen. If you even call these kinds of people, but yes, I do indeed like to do some interviews here and there. I like talking to individuals that are up and coming creators, established creators, whatever it might be. You know, just an interesting discussion, right? Last week, or was it 2 weeks ago, I talked to Kai Weiss. I talked to Kai about a couple things. You know, Kai has a bit of a controversy. You know, we'll be asking this person that I'm going to interview tonight about Mr. Kai Weiss too, where he stands on that. We got a lot, actually. You know, at first I didn't think there were many questions to ask Lio Convoy, who's going to be my special guest for tonight. But then I looked into it, and the more I saw his feed, and the more I just saw in general, this guy, there's quite a lot to cover, I think. There's a bit, dare I say, misinformation pertaining to him as well. I saw somebody made a freaking document on him, because, you know, that's always good. Fuck, it was right here beneath my fucking nose, too. Apparently, there was this person called Caswar Fox or some shit, I don't know, on April, that just randomly fucking posted this here. So there was there was that. So that's something, I guess. They're no longer here. I don't know what ended up happening to them. I don't know if like we lost you know, we got rid of them, or they just left after nobody gave a shit about this. I don't know. But I do know that Lio Convoy is actually on my server too. I know they're fighting on Twitter. There's a lot to cover. What is this beef? What is this Senate? We're going to be asking him all these questions. All right. And of course, yes, his war crimes against humanity or whatever. I did end up getting this. It's interesting. I'll ask him how accurate this is. I guess this is public perception of some sort for individuals. I think. I don't know. And this is where like apparently, okay, here's the thing. You can't go on the internet without them calling you a pedo at some point or another. So of course, we gotta, of course, it's gotta be, Lio Convoy has gotta be called a pedophile, I guess, because that's what it all comes down to on the internet. It's who can call the other person a pedo in the most creative way possible. That's pretty much how it goes. But I saw this, and they even made a little, I guess, article or forum or something. I don't know. And this person is called Medicare Fembot. I remember this person from the blood sports area-ish kind of thing. There was this fat Australian guy called Earjuice that was trying to dox her one time. And he had like this little secret Discord channel where he was trying to get her identity with a couple of other people. It was really weird. It's like, these blood sports guys are really fucking weird, dude. They were trying to dox this person for the longest time. It was just these. Look, I've been into really, really dark parts of the internet, my friends. Except Tor. I don't fuck with that shit, all right? Because that's owned by the government. So this Medicare Fembot, let me know if they have things accurately at all. But they said if you don't know, you should know. There's an autistic civil war between the pedophile hunter community, between Lio Convoy, Caswar Fox, and Gilded Pooh. What a fucking lineup of names, bro. I made a thread on it, and you're free to read and contribute if you wish. The Senate versus the Fox Mafia. What the fuck is this? Like, just what the fuck is this? What am I looking at? Oh my god. I found Sen in the Quiet Drama. Best mistake of my life. Hell yeah, brother. You're right there with a lot of people, actually. But we go into this, and apparently it gives like a little bit of a rundown. Kind of. It's a lot shorter than your typical, like, I guess, I don't know. I guess this was roughly made, and this is just what it is right now. So this person says, the people involved in the following social media war are Coyote Lovely, Caswar Fox, and Lio Convoy. Now I hear it's Leo, I heard it's Lio. I don't know. I'm gonna go in between and use both because I think it's funny. Lio Convoy. The long and short of it, links provided, is Coyote Lovely, for some unknown reason, decided to get into bed while literally with a known pedophile hypnotist, Zaffo. We've already heard of Zaffo. You guys have probably. Turkey Tom has made some documentary videos on that, and I assume that a good majority of people have watched those or, have heard of it. As people slowly trickled in and decided to look into why Coyote was talking to him, he had to come up with an excuse that he was running a gay off. I'm guessing she meant to say gay off, which made no sense to literally anyone. As such, eventually his fellow content creators decided to drop bomb on him as they all hunt pedophiles, and that, of course, working and trying to sleep with a known predator caused a social backlash. It started with a third party known as Gilded Poo. Again, great fucking names. And also Vlad the Impaler. What the? Are you guys like sexually repressed like teenagers on the internet? Like what are these fucking names? Bro, what would fucking Jim say if he heard, like if Jim was here right now and he had to read this shit? It's a Gilded Poo and Vlad the Impaler. Like what the fuck, dude? Like, are you kidding me? What is this shit? Who is a friend to Casware Fox? Oh boy, the most fucking normal fucking name so far. And I bet the person behind it isn't exactly normal, so that's not saying a lot. So let's see what this is. Then of course came Kaz doing his stream on Coyote. That's lovely, man. Immediately after the stream, Coyote was called in to speak with Lio Convoy. The Senate, of course, jumping in as needed to bully this freak into apologies and everything else. Now to backtrack for a moment, during Kaz's stream, threats were issued, if you even call them threats really, to start a Discord war with the Senate, as Coyote was integrally linked to the Senate. As such, after that stream, I assume taking the threat somewhat seriously, Lio decided to take a shot at Kaz. There, of course, was some back and forth with Lio and Gilded Poo, as Gilded has taken issue with something stated as false information. Love the suit. I love the suit, by the way, but oh my god. Where'd you get this? Did you get off Amazon or some shit? Shortly after this, Gilded Poo would make... I hate that name. Gilded Poo would make another video, but this time taking aim at Kaz. His claim, of course, being that he, while under the scrutiny of the video being released about him, decided to kick Vlad from the Discord and decided to use a plethora of nonsensical reasons of why he did it. As petty as this may be. I think you meant to say as petty, but, whatever. As petty as this may seem, God damn it, bitch, Frightwell. He did release a lot of information to the public. Around this time, of course, Kaz and Leo's groups were duking it out with each other, one of which, on Kaz's side, released a dossier on Lio that, to be honest, I have yet to read. You just said I haven't read yet, whatever. I do believe that both sides will be releasing more content out against each other, and will turn from a smolder to a spark to a flame to a full-blown shit show. For now, this is what I'm documenting for anyone who's interested. There is, of course, a lot more that happened in between, but I'll leave that for you to go find. So I guess that's the tale of the tape between this shit, and I do want to get a couple answers on that. So let's get this started. All right, this is the little brief introduction that we did. Let me go ahead and ring up Lio Convoy. Let's go ahead and ring a ding ding. You can't hear the rings because we're in the safety mode of this whole thing. But I assure you, the rings are coming. Hold on. Let me show you guys. Oh no, that's the wrong one. Here it is. There. And there we go. How's it going, buddy?
Where am I?
You here? Hey.
How's it going, man?
What's up? What's up? What's up? So we gotta talk about your war crimes on humanity.
War crimes. You will never. You. Statute has passed. You can't try me for them.
Okay, dude. Where did you get that fucking suit? That's. I think that's your biggest crime.
Quick, before I go into that, it is storming out here, so if it cuts out, it's not because I'm leaving the stream because I don't like it, because Jar's spoken very highly of you, so that, and I might mute occasionally because I got a little gremlin cat that demands entry to this room at all times. So just heads up. Okay, so
yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
the
no
mask.
problem.
Okay, the mask. I bought that mask off of freaking eBay like 4 years ago because I looked at it and I'm like, this is perfect nightmare fuel. It looks like whoever owned it had a stroke, so that's why I got that horrible mask.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of frightening, honestly, dude. Like, I
I
want to
know, it's
be,
hilarious.
you look like a serial killer in between, and I'm like, holy shit, bro. Like, okay, this guy's gonna kill me.
Oh,
Fucking hell.
that's good comedy.
Yeah, it is. It is pretty good. But this is, I think this is our first time talking. I don't think I've ever spoken to you. I've heard about you in passing 2 times. I heard about you one time, and it was regarding, as I guess this is like question number one I would have, kind of. It involves anime Matsuri Amaranth
Hmm.
and the owner of Matsuri.
Uh-huh.
I had heard from a couple people that you were defending Amaranth in her accusation towards the owner of Matsuri, and that's where I had first heard about you.
Well, whoever said that to you needs to learn how to read a timeline because
Okay.
Amaranth went over my video about Anime Matsuri and the things that the owner of it admitted to doing.
Mm-hmm.
Because the way I structured that video, and I'll segue about it in a moment because I know why some people are mad about it,
Mm-hmm.
is I gave multiple reasons why you shouldn't support that convention, starting from the sexual misconduct, including like getting trying to get frisky with a kid, all the way to the fact that he like stole over like 100,000 from his friend and refuses to pay it back. So I gave
Okay.
multiple reasons why you shouldn't support that convention. I think the main reason why people are really negative about the video is because it's one of the few conventions that Mignana is allowed at now, even though I never once mentioned him at all in the video, not even like casually. I made that very clear, and people are thinking for some reason that video is about him when it has nothing to do with him.
Okay, so this is, it's basically, let me turn up your mic volume a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so basically this doesn't even have to pertain specifically with the owner of the convention. This is just like in general, the convention in itself, like Matsuri, right?
Well, it does primarily deal with the owner because the owner is the one that didn't pay the person back. The owner is the one that admitted to sexual misconduct. It's primarily about him, but considering he owns the convention and he pockets the money from it, for lack of a better word, of course, there's going to be
Mm-hmm.
profits on it. In situations like this, I think it's best not to support a convention that has someone like that heading it.
Okay, so you're saying that Amaranth basically used your video as a reference or as, I guess, proof against the owner, and that's what it was, right? That's
Well,
where
yeah,
you got involved in this.
she uses direct clips from the video. She initially reached out to me. It's like, hey, can I want to do a video about your video on the Matsuri. I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. At first, because I had no clue about any of that. I've never had somebody ask permission to go over one of my videos before. So then she does her video. She announces she plans on doing another convention, and the comments get filled with a bunch of nonsense. So essentially, she just used the video to talk about the stuff behind Anime Matsuri.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Another quote I have about this is, quote, Lio Convoy defended Amaranth and her lie about the owner and operator of Anime Matsuri for being a pedophile that sexually assaulted underage attendants at the event by getting them drunk first.
But
Is that your response to that?
here, let's go ahead and do this. All right. So, are you familiar with the transcript tool?
Uh-huh.
On Okay, so here's what I'm gonna. Wait, why is it not giving me the ability to transcript? Huh. I pulled up my own video, but let me
Yeah.
just go ahead and see the script. I have this. I used to do scripts like in, in the Notepad app because I'm a boomer. Let's see here. The word drink is not found in the script. The word drunk is not found in the script. Let's try intoxicated. Also not found in the script. So no, I never made a claim about him getting a bunch of people drunk. I talked about the fact that he apparently hit on a child, and this child contacted his wife, and his wife's response was, "Well, you should have just told him to stop."
This is the video in question, right?
Let's take a look at your screen here.
Oh, I posted it in the
Oh,
chat.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
it.
Anime Matsuri and the scumbag that run. Yeah, this is where you have the fucking mask on, the creepy "I'm gonna kill you." Oh my god, it doesn't fucking help that you have a sword in the background, dude. What the fuck? It's So you
Hey,
got
if we're gonna do
gloves too? Oh
if
no.
I'm going to do cringe, I'm gonna go full bore on it.
I like the wine glass. That's a nice little touch right there. It's very classy. It's very. I like. Wait, is that a fireplace too? Okay,
Yes, it
you,
is.
dude, you got like this whole classy serial killer vibe in this photo. I kind of dig it. I'm gonna be real with you.
Tell me about the lambs, Sin.
Yeah. Oh, and then you got your little collections in the background. What is this, man? What is this?
Oh, dude, like I'm a massive like Transformer collector. This is like my jam when it comes to stuff I do as a hobby. So I got a Gundam my wife built on the table because of course it's anime Matsuri, so anime's related. I got all my Gundams and I actually removed them from where they are now, which is why you haven't seen a video like this in like over a year. Because I'm getting new shelving in, better shelving for the stuff I've collected. Because like the Deltops, I just ran out of space because I have so much stuff.
Oh, you
I'm a
mentioned
nerd.
you're a married man. Then you're a married
Yes, I am.
man.
We actually
Um.
celebrated 5 years a few weeks ago.
Oh, okay. That's cool. That's nice. How old are you? If you don't mind me asking.
37.
Oh, you're 37. I thought, honestly, dude, no offense. I thought you were older than that. I thought you were I had heard you were like 40, anywhere from the range of 40 to 50 or something. I'm like, oh, he's
Well,
old.
the year says 85. The body feels 48.
Okay, that makes sense. That's fair. That's fair. Okay, well, you're not really. I mean, you're old, but you're not really that old. You know, you're not at that grandpa age or something. You know. Okay,
And
that's
I feel
cool.
like it sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, well that's cool. 5 years of marriage. Do you have any kids? Do you wanna air that out or no?
I have found family of people I've taken in. One of them lives with us, but I don't have any biological children now.
Okay, well, you are a father though.
Yes.
Does that is that impacted you or has made you want to pursue what you're currently? I want to say I don't want to say profession, but what you're currently exploring. It seems like it's a pedophile. Well, would find a fall under pedophile hunting of sorts, right?
No, it was. That's not what did because I didn't wind up having my found family until like years after that. What made me get into predator hunting was what happened back in 2018 when the Bronies had a hard time dealing with somebody called Toon Critic, and when they found out what he did, they mishandled it so egregiously that it just baffled me that these adults didn't know how to deal with any of this, like at all. For example, one of their plans was they weren't going to release any videos about what this guy had done until he was in jail because none of these people understood like the legal process isn't arrest him and throw him in jail right now. They literally didn't
Yeah.
understand that. So I was faced with a dilemma. Either I could be a typical commentator, and I don't mean like commentator, like commentator,
Mm-hmm.
and I go in there and I just run my mouth throughout all the comments and make myself look like a goon, or I can sack up and try to help and do something. And it's been rough in some cases. There were things I had to learn going on, but that's what made me decide to do this. And I've been at it for about 5 years now, and there are times that it's fulfilling in the fact that I'm helping somebody who has been wronged horrifically. I'm helping them get closure or justice as best as I can because I'm not law enforcement, so I just report these things. But it's also very troubling because I found that unfortunately police very rarely take any of this as seriously as they really should, whether that
Mm-hmm.
be lack of training, lack of funding, or lol internet doesn't count. It could be any of these things. Um, it's troublesome. So what we've had to focus on in some cases because I always follow reports like that's just required. And despite what people tell you, you don't throw it to the FBI tip line. You don't tell neighborhood watch. You file it with your local precinct, and they look into it. And if they think it's solid, they'll pass it to the precinct of whoever is the perpetrator. And that's what I have to rely on because I can't prosecute people. I'm not law enforcement.
Of course,
Um,
yeah.
I found that there's some good that's done when you put some of this out in public. For example, there was an individual who went by the name of Grizzly the Medic. Grizzly the Medic was a was an EMT, Sin. This
Mm-hmm.
EMT also security at BronyCon who really, really wanted 11-year-old girls in his hotel room.
Yeah.
So when I busted him and I reported him and I put the video on my channel, a few months later, I actually got contacted by an EMT supervisor in that area because he lost his job over the first video and he was looking for more work and they searched him and they found that video and they essentially blacklisted him from any sort of work like that because if you're trying to get children in your bedroom, you
Mm.
shouldn't be working in an
Yeah.
EMT station.
Yeah. No, you should be in. I mean, you can't say it on YouTube, but I think you know what most people would say that. Um, but also like I guess at minimum jail, right?
Well, I look at it this way, Sin. I studied zoology for a few years, like offhand. I have a lot of heart for God's creatures, and I think they need to be fed better.
Yeah.
Wink, wink,
Well,
nudge, nudge.
I
Say
think
more.
I know what you're talking. I think I know where you're going with this. You have any specific creatures in mind? Or maybe some lions, maybe the lions out
No, I
there.
mean like zoos are always looking for better meat.
Oh, and it doesn't get any fresher than one of those, right?
No, no. One could argue perhaps the gladiatorial arenas had a point,
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Okay,
but
so this
the
seems like a very like I hear you and I'm listening to you and it seems like pretty legit. Some of the people that have criticized you, I think, tried to make the argument that you don't give a fuck enough about this, or they try to push the idea that this. In fact, I just looked it up today, and it's like, oh, when Lio Convoy stops talking about drama, they're classifying this under drama and not really.
of course they are.
What would you classify it under? Because they call it drama, right?
This
Well,
specific thing we're talking about in terms of cast war fox or as far as predator hunting.
just predator hunting in general.
I don't consider predator hunting to be drama so long as you're fairly competent at it or you're at least trying to do things properly. Because what I've unfortunately found in the times I've had to interact with other ones, and we'll get into casts about all that later on, a lot of them
Hmm.
have number one, no clue what they're doing. Number two, they lose their minds, unfortunately, and do really dumb things. Like, for example, um, I was brought a case 2 years ago that I wasn't able to pursue, so I trusted whoever brought it to me to try to do it themselves. And instead of doing a proper investigation, getting the screen caps, getting witness statements, forwarding it to the police, doing all this stuff, the person just lost their mind, doxed the person, started a schizo posting about how he was going to show up to their house and kill them.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it, you have to have some strong ethics for it, and you have to actually care. Number one, about how you're operating, and number two, about who you're doing it for. If you're doing it just to satisfy your own misanthropy, you just
Hmm.
need to stop. But if you're doing it to try to help people who have been victimized, you have to be ethical, you have to have a heart for them, and you have to try to uh, get them what they actually need. Of course, you can't be a therapist, obviously, but you have to try to work in a way that you have done your best to make sure this is forwarded to the proper authorities instead of just completely screwing everything up because you get in over your head and you just want to yell at a pedophile.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Are you like familiar with other pedophile predator hunters such as like Mama Max? Have you taken inspiration from him, or have you? Is there anybody in particular that inspired you as well on how to maybe refine yourself, or what to take notes on what to do, or has this all just been you?
There were people I've worked with before, and unfortunately, all of them have either I've either had to stop working with because they make bad decisions, or in the case of Coyote, really bad decisions. So it's just more of, well, what do I actually need to do? What do these people need from me? How can I actually help? Just trying to and taking proper critique and criticism, right? You know, you can't sit here and take in everybody's opinion because I had one dude years ago. It's one of my funniest interactions. Get so tilted that I did predator hunting. He was trying to claim that I was gonna do violence at a convention on par with the L.A. riots of '92.
What the fuck? What?
It was dude, that was hilarious because when I got him in call, you want to know why he said that? Because he had a bad dream about me.
Okay. Okay.
I still have that tweet. It's hilarious, but the thing is, we could talk all day long about uh, the process of it, all that stuff. But the thing is, people look at this stuff and they think it's easy clicks, or they think that it's something that's fun to do. And when it gets down to it, is it cathartic to tear into a child predator and make them like terrified? Yeah, there's some catharsis to that. I'm not going to deny that. But at the same time, you're dealing with people who have been dealt terrible things to them, and that takes a toll too. If you actually care, it weighs on you. It weighs on you emotionally. It weighs on you spiritually. It weighs on you physically. In my case, to where like there are times that I've had somebody approach me, a young person, like, "Hey, I need to bring this case to you. This person has groomed me, and I would like them dealt with." I'm like, "All right, so ethically, here's what you have to do.
Wow.
You're a minor. You need to inform your parents, and we need to inform the police. And
Mm-hmm.
because children do not have three-dimensional thinking like adults like you and I do, what they want instead is they want a video made and for the person to be deplatformed because they can't think ahead and think there's never just one victim.
Yeah.
So even if nothing goes from law enforcement in terms of punishment, it's at least on record. And there have been times, unfortunately, I've had to tell these kids, I'm sorry, unless I operate within the legal law, within the legal ramifications or legal process, and your parents know about this, I can't go out and do a video about any of this. Not because I don't care, not because I want a scumbag to walk, but because if I'm not doing my due diligence to care for that kid and to care for the legal process, then what good is anything I'm doing?
Yeah.
Break.
You mentioned you're mentioning like the process in which we should get this done and stuff. Are you I'm sure are aware of the EDP situation, correct?
Yeah, I've been
Do
informed
you
of it.
have any thoughts on how that whole thing was handled and any critiques maybe or anything you want to say
Yes,
about that?
I have a few. Number one, using a decoy is risky because a good lawyer could, may not, but could argue a form of entrapment. So that's why whenever I've done an operation, I use that word very loosely because I'm not here like I'm a private investigator and I'm gonna find I'm the new McClintock. No, it's whenever we look into a case, we never do anything like that. I've refused to do things like that because it can compromise things. I'd rather work with people who I know have been affected, who have solid data, screen caps, video recordings, all that stuff that I can forward to law enforcement. I don't work with fabricated cases. I don't work with trying to entrap somebody or get them to fall for a fake minor. I think if you know somebody's a child predator, you're going to know they have victims and you're going to be able to find them because they want to tell you. They really do. It might scare them. They might be terrified because of the social pressure or terrified because a lot of these scumbags tell the kid, if you tell anybody, I'll kill myself. And these kids, of course, are terrified of that. They don't want that on their head, no matter what type of person this is. Um, when I've had predators try to play that with me, when I'm dealing with them, my response is fine, film it. I don't care. But when it's the kids, like you can't tell them to do that because they're not going to listen. You want to try to again to operate ethically, and the way that they operated that and the stings that people do on YouTube, I think it's more hot take. I think it's more about clout in that case than it is actual justice.
Hmm.
Um, so I think there's a problem with how predator hunting is viewed due to stuff like that, and that's one reason why people think it's a content farm. The entire reason why I've put out videos about predators isn't to content farm. It's because it's the biggest platform I have, and letting people know who these people are and what they're doing, I think, is a bit more important than whether or not I get clout from it.
Right. Yeah, because I mean, two of the biggest, I guess, well, Mama Max would be the biggest, I guess, but two of the people that were in my radar of hunting predators, aside from Max, there were CC Unit and what was the other one? It was CC Unit and People versus Predators, People versus Preds. So CC Unit though, actually, there was this guy called Chet Goldstein that was, I guess, one of the figureheads, and during the EDP situation and a bunch of other stings that he did, he would put certain bits of quote unquote evidence. I'm assuming it was real and this wasn't fake or anything, but he would put the evidence behind a paywall, and he would say, here are the texts. However, if you want the texts of this guy wanting to talk to a child, you need to pay for the membership. We're gonna put it behind a paywall, and it's like,
What?
huh, that's weird. That's kind of
What the heck is
strange.
wrong with these people?
Yeah, I was well, he got terminated because of reasons, but uh at the time I was watching him and he was getting memberships for that because obviously if there's evidence of a pedophile or you either want to laugh at the person, right? You want to shame him, you want to find info, or you want to do any of that. I just think it's irresponsible of the guy who was the one that caught these people um to put like the evidence of that behind a paywall. It seems just like, oh, come on, dude. Like, really? Really? And additionally, the EDP situation, apparently it came out that he had not put the video out because he was waiting for the possibility of it getting monetized for it. So he held on basically to the video of EDP trying to have sex with a child for the sake of getting his video monetized so that he can get money off of it. Now you would say, oh, it's just to get out to the broader people or something, but I think based on the fact that he's willing to paywall evidence, I think his main intent was to get as much money out of this thing as possible. So, it's kind of situations like that. It's like, oh, wow, okay. So this is, it feels more like a grift than anything.
Yeah, because like in full transparency, there have been times I've done videos about predators and I monetized it, not because haha I must rake in money, but because I know that YouTube's algorithm pushes monetized stuff more. But I don't throw it up on my Patreon, an unlisted video, and say, hey, to see this you must pay for it. No. If I have evidence the greater public needs to see, in that case, it's either going in the video or it's going in the Google Doc that's going to be accompanying the video so people can see what's being talked about within reason, of course. I will censor things that obviously need to be censored. It's not something that I've dedicated my channel to 100% because I'd like to talk about other things as well, but it's something I've primarily done very quietly the past few years because a lot of the people that have come to me, they've wanted to keep it quiet simply for their own peace of mind, and I try to keep the victims and what they want at the forefront instead of just whether or not I want to dunk on a child predator.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, after like comparing these people, right? Because like I said, I've seen 3 big predator hunter groups at least. I saw CC Unit, People versus Preds, Mama Max, and I can add you now to that list as the 4th person. I'm considering you there, only because I've never seen your toy reviews. I didn't see your Matsuri video. I only started hearing more about you. I only started hearing more about you after this whole predator thing kind of kicked off.
My toy reviews.
Yeah, I've never seen your toy reviews, sadly, bro. I'm sorry. I'll try to start watching those.
Bro, you don't strike me as a toy review type of guy.
Yeah,
you strike me as a gamer.
I am kind of a gamer. I'll admit.
So. I've done like 1 video game review, and I'm sure it's one you wouldn't even have cared about. So I'd like to get back into doing the stuff that like I enjoy doing. The video I did on Spoctor.
Yeah.
Like, I pushed that out as quick as I could because of me getting the information that Monday. And dude, like people probably think that I was really happy to get that information. I wasn't. Like, I don't like Spoctor. I don't like probably about 80% at minimum of commentary people as a whole. But dude, like, I'm kind of tired of every time I'm beefing with a dude or anytime I have an issue with a dude, they wind up doing stuff with kids. It's just, I'm tired of it. Let me make fun of somebody for being stupid. Why do kids always have to be involved? So I'm past that call, and I'm worried the entire time putting this video together. Am I doing like this in the right way that I need to? Am I doing this in a way that's actually going to make sense? I'm constructing the video so people understand that he has a pathological problem with not actually caring about anybody else, and it builds up to the fact that he had a 13-year-old's nudes on a flash drive past the page of 18.
Yeah.
Saw no actual issue with it until he got called out. It's just disgusting.
So yeah, I heard that whole Spoctor situation is basically so he was, when he received the nudes of the 13-year-old, was it a 12 or a 13-year-old?
It's a bit up in the air about the direct age, but either way, he was
it's in between. Okay, so in between 12 and 13. He was how old at the time?
16.
Okay, so that's like we'll get into this too. That's like about
no high school context for that.
Yeah, because you're not even in high school.
No.
Yeah, but in that instance, it'd be like a 3-4 year age gap, and I'm guessing there were people that defended Spoctor, right? Because yeah, it's a pretty
still are.
There's a relatively decent, I guess, fan base for him even still. So they would probably argue it's just a 3-year age gap, right? Which I personally, I think I even said this on the live stream,
Sunday school stalker
because I said, well, that wouldn't matter because, like you said, there's no, I say high school contact. I brought this up with the Breon situation. We'll get on that too. But when I refer to the high school context thing, it's more of like, are these people in line to be interacting with each other in high school based off of the age, right? So 14 to 18 would be like, your freshman to senior. But when it comes to the 12 and 13, that's not even high school. There's no possibility of that. And the possibility of that would be astronomically low. So there's no high school context in that state. Plus, And this will touch up on another situation that I kind of really want to hear your thoughts on too. Would be like the zero situation, but we'll get into that. 12 to 13, with a 16-year-old, the age gaps there. The 16-year-old has already gone through massive puberty, and we're headed to like, adultism, young adultism. The other one is just starting, right?
Yeah.
So that is, by all accounts, I gotta say, even like to the people trying to defend him or put a case for, no, that is very predatory. I would even say pedophilic. I don't know if he'll sue me for that. He probably won't. Who cares? But I would argue that yeah, that is pedophilic. And to keep those, later on down the line, just to keep those. I mean, you would at the very fucking least, right? Get rid of the nudes. You don't want to. Why would you?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make sense. Why are you holding on to the nudes, right?
Well,
Like,
it's
what the
not just
fuck?
that. Is in the call he had with Junkie and Fagos, he literally talks about how it's been sitting on his counter and how he's been seeing it. It's like it's been there for a while. Why is it now? You decided to get, well, the reason why he decided to get rid of it was because that other person put out a video, and the person that he was in possession of the nudes of was essentially giving him grief for it. And he literally admits in that call, I want this person on my side because if not, they'll hate me and it'll cause problems, essentially. And that is just slime ball behavior. It's just his stupid little chuckle, all that. I'm not going to pretend like I like the guy. Like, I'm going to have my biases against him for a whole slew of things. But just the fact that this was sat on as well for 3 years, it
Yeah.
frustrates the living piss out of me. Because I know, like, in the initial stream you did covering it, you thought that, like, I had it for longer. No, I had it that Monday before it released. I put that video out at the end of the week once I made sure I had everything in a row because I'm not stupid. I know what Spocker went through in 2018, and I didn't want a repeat of that. I didn't want people to walk in and say, well, he was accused falsely once, therefore it must be falsely known. No, that's why I put the entire doggone call, with the exception of, like, the first 7 or 9 minutes because they were memeing. I put it in there because that wasn't Spocker on a platform being nervous and giving nervous answers. He was in a call with his friends he didn't know was recorded.
Yeah.
What really
Okay.
irritates me, Sin, is that nobody else is really covering this.
Mm-hmm. Well, I gotta follow up for that.
Sure.
Um, but fuck. You said nobody is covering this. You're right. But I did find a tweet where there was an individual. Now this might I want your reaction to this. I want to know what you think about this. But this guy is
Okay.
actually from the commentary community. He's in that section of commentary, right?
Yay.
His name's Toastify. Don't know the guy much.
Oh, I
Had
know
an
exactly what tweet you're talking
I
about.
had one interaction with him. It wasn't negative. I have nothing against this guy because we don't know each other like that. I just know that he was previously on Doc on the radios, and Doc on the radio would cover Spurg drama, or
Hmm.
basically that's small orbiter commentary people drama that they're just there for kind of like lulls or something. It's nothing too serious from my understanding. He's kind of retired now, because he's doing real life things, right? His college, I'm assuming, picked up and stuff, and he's
Oh,
realized,
good.
oh, that doing the Spurg drama isn't really paying the bills, or I'm going to pay the bills in the long run, so he kind of retired now. But this person, yeah, that's what I know him from. He made a tweet regarding the Spockter drama, actually, and he says, I was gonna catch up on the Spockter situation. Let me actually put this on the screen. I was going to catch up on the Spockter situation, but then I realized that it meant sitting through an hour and a half of Lio Convoy. This guy gets incredibly mad over internet shit and calls Hopeless Peaches his daughter or some shit like that in group calls. See, this is an example of my point, and then he links this. I don't know what the fuck this is, but
It's somebody taking my call with Coyote where I was tearing into him for his nonsense and put a bunch of Wojak stuff over it. Frankly, like in a bubble, I think that video's hilarious, first and foremost. As far as Toastify goes, I mean, I don't blame him. I don't want to have to sit through an hour and a half of myself either, but I didn't know how to put timestamps. I didn't know how to put timestamps in the video yet. Thankfully, I was walked through that. But at the same time, here's my value when it comes to people like Toastify, and I say this without any derogatory because I don't know Toastify. I have nothing against him, but Toastify, my value with people like him, because he's 17, he's a kid, is I'm either, if I have an issue with him, I'll just pull him aside and talk to them privately, or I'm just not going to engage. And in this case, the only reason I got engaged in that tweet situation is because I had who follow me, like, going at it with this kid. I'm just like, let him have his opinion. I don't care. I'm not going to go to bed at night worried that Toastify doesn't like that I yell at people. I mean, he's a kid. He doesn't have a real understanding of how the world works. That's fine. Let him have his opinion.
Yeah, yeah, because I think ordinarily they would have covered something like the Spectre drama because that is obviously anytime there's like a big allegation kind of story, they people in general, like people in commentary in general, would cover that. They're steering clear of it a little more now. I think the big
Mhm.
people in that sphere are staying away from it more so now. I think. Uh, but before, yeah, it's and even still, like even the mid, I guess you know, mid tier commentary and below will still cover this, just because fuck, I covered the Spocter shit. I covered the Quite shit, but the Quite shit was more. Did you hear about
Oh, I
that
would never do it.
situation? Did you?
I heard about it. Somebody's like, Lio, are you going to talk about it? So like, nope, I got
That
way
was
too much going on, and I am
yeah.
not dealing with that.
That didn't even deal with predator hunting. That was more of like a Me Too, I want to say, situation of sorts. I don't know what your thoughts would be on that, but I don't know. Maybe we'll ask that another day. But yeah, they that I saw this, and the one thing that like kind of not the part of you screaming and shit or whatever. Yeah, what is this Hopeless Peach's daughters thing? Because somebody actually, I guess, went to your defense in a way and said
Yeah, I
something.
don't know why they're talking about legality here. Peaches is part of my found family.
Okay, yeah, because I saw something here. Agent Angie said a Leo
Oh
Convoy
no.
adopted Peaches as her parents neglected her. It's called found family, and if you think it's weird, then honestly that's on you, not them. Lastly, Leo has done reporting predators before and sent in actual police reports on them. What I recommend you do is interview Leo and Peaches in either private call or the Senate. He's not always mad at internet shit. That's a lie, and you know it. There you go.
Okay,
That's what
so
she had to
about this.
say.
Do you know who Lovely Lena is?
I've heard the name. Not very familiar
That's
with the
Agent
person.
Angie. They're very much so on
Oh,
the yeah. They're very much so on the spectrum. They defend who they like very heavily. And while I appreciate the fact that they care, the only person who speaks for me is me. I didn't take offense to what Tostify said. If that's his value, that he thinks that I yell and it's bad to yell, he's welcome to have that. Again, he's 17. Because this is what irritates me, right? When it comes to people who are quote unquote my fans, for lack of a better word. As loud as I am, it seems like nobody freaking hears me. Because when I did my video on Smash Bandicoot, I literally opened it talking about how I think it's a problem in commentary when people just dogpile on a literal kid. Just let them have their opinions. If you think it's an issue, talk to them privately or ignore them. And here they are, not listening to anything I freaking said. So whether or not Toastify likes my voice or that I yell at people has nothing to do with whether or not I've done predator hunting or predator reporting. So it's just a goofy thing. Let the kid have his opinion. Not everybody's going to like me, and that's okay. I don't want everybody to like me.
yeah, that's fair. Not everybody's gonna like. Dude, I'm having a pretty good discussion. You seem like a funny guy. And I don't know. I've seen a lot of hate for you actually. And God,
Well,
but to
why?
just finish it. We'll get there. Just to finish up with what Toastified said though, because he did reply to this, and he said, "I'm not contesting Leo's work. He's probably done good stuff. Just don't think legal adoption between two people who I assume live a long way from each other and talk to online is a good idea. Correct me if I'm wrong on any of that."
Not that Angie would know, because Angie doesn't live in my household. Angie is on like the edge of watching content and seeing what I put out. Angie does not speak for me, and neither do any of my other fans. The only person who does is me. And real quick, since I know you were asking, it's Lio Convoy.
Lio. Why do people call it Leo? Is it because
Because you
of
can't read?
the is it because of the lion?
Maybe, but again, the name, because I saw you searching the screen name, and you're like, "What's with the Transformer stuff?" It's from a Transformer cartoon. That's I've had this name since like '99.
Oh shit, that's before I was born. What the
Actually,
fuck?
it was nine. I think it was '97 actually, but I've had it longer than probably most of your audience has been alive. So that's why if you search Lio Convoy, some of it's gonna be I don't like this man who yells. The rest of it's gonna be like, why are they posting action figures?
Yeah. I think even in some of your works, you do the whole what is little figure you do the figures, and so basically like the art commentary would do like drawings while they do their commentary and
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
I build
Commentary would
Gundam
have used
models.
gameplay. You use transformers and making little what do you
I
call
build
those things?
Gundam models.
Yeah, Gundam
Gundams.
models
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Yeah, yeah.
There's two reasons for that. Number one, I don't like being like everybody else. And number two, I have like a 200 kit backlog that I need to work through, and that kind of forces me to do it.
Okay, okay. Well, no, I think it's clever. I think have you seen anybody else do it, or is this just like
No,
you? You just decided to
actually,
do it.
my initial thought when I started doing stuff like this was to put on like a an off-brand GoPro and do like manual like cutting and sawing and like manual work because my argument against most commentary is you kids don't have dads and you don't have jobs, so let me go ahead and show you how to do actual work, you stupid kids. But that I wound up not working out because the camera wouldn't function properly, so I just decided I'll just build model kits, get that out of the way, and actually have a little bit of fun when I have to make these videos instead of having to always yell at people, because the yelling at people stuff is going to happen, but like building model kits is fun. So I at least get to have a little bit of fun as a treat when I do this.
Yeah, it's definitely clever. I was wondering if that was a thing that you came up with by yourself, or if you
Yeah,
saw it somewhere and you decided to do it. Because I think it is clever. I think commentators, they use their gameplay, art commentary, art CC, they use their little drawings, and you just use your Gundam models. I think that's a nice little, like, not a twist, but like it fits your
it's
personality. It's
different.
like, yeah, it's also different. Yeah, it's subtle, and I like it. I like it. It's original. It's original. You don't find that very
And
often.
I know that sometimes I keep images on the screen too long for you, Sen. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, okay, buddy. Okay, buddy. Oh, I actually I have a super chat from my mod who says ask Lio, my bad, to investigate the Sunday school stalker I bully bullies and if the word pedophile has lost all its meaning.
I I don't know who that guy is.
God, you don't
And on
you don't want to
and on
know.
top of that, like I got a lot of stuff on my plate concerning stuff like this. I'm actually planning on putting out a video by the end of the month explaining how to deal with predator ring. Doesn't seem to be much in the way of that that's easy to digest, and sometimes
Hmm.
people just need guidance. They don't always need somebody like me to come in and do it for them. Sometimes they just need to be shown how to do it on their own. So that's what I'm working on there, so people will be a little more informed on how to do that. As far as the word pedophile meaning losing all meaning, I do take issue with people throwing the word around very loosely, because we can talk about the power of words, we can talk about etymology, we can talk about all of that, but the truth of the matter is, words like that have strong meanings for a reason. It's one of the worst things a human being can do is prey on something helpless and weak. One of the true marks of somebody's character, it doesn't matter who they are, is how they treat those that are powerless against them in any way. So when you're able to do something like that, and you choose of your own volition to do something like that to a child that can't defend themselves, whether it be emotionally, mentally, whatever, um, that shouldn't be devalued for the words we use. Predator is a good one. Pedophile is it's a more strict definition, but colloquially we're using it to define any person who preys on children. So I think the fact that people keep turning it into a big joke, and I don't mean like how South Park does jokes. I mean like
Yeah.
I'm gonna have fun and make up an allegation that somebody's a pedophile, like they tried to do the jar. That I take
Yeah,
a little
yeah,
issue
yeah.
with.
I saw
That I
that.
take issue with, because number one, it's not they're so focused on, well, I'm going to throw this dirt at this guy I don't like, where they're forgetting there are people who go through that, and devaluing that just means that it's harder in the long run, if it winds up picking up traction, for victims to be treated properly and to get actual justice, and they already have a hard enough time as it is, and that just makes it worse. So I think people need to think a little more three dimensionally instead of just haha, let me have a giggle. Maybe think that there are better ways to insult and give somebody grief than using a phrase that has a lot more impact to it. Because I've seen people make those comments, make those quote unquote jokes, and it winds up ruining people's lives.
Yeah.
Like I got a lunatic on me that's been on my case since like late 2019, early 2020, who's obsessed with me, stalks me everywhere. He's a clown that tried so far to make two Kiwi Farm threads on me, neither of which are doing any good. One got locked because Sin I made fun of a GI Joe toy line he liked on Twitter,
Nice.
and he has been trying for years, because he tried on 4chan, then he got doxxed.
Oh,
He tried on
great.
4chan to paint me as a pedophile, and he failed there. So now he's teaming up with anybody he can that takes umbrage with me for whatever reason, because I made fun of action figures.
What is this guy's name? Does he have a presence? Like a
He doesn't have a presence in the way you think. His name's Adam Galvin.
okay, Adam Galvin.
Guess how old he is, Sin?
13.
35.
Okay. Okay. Okay, I was not expecting that. Like the way you
I
described
wasn't
them
either.
seems like something like a kid would act like, not a
Yeah,
35-year-old
like
man. Not a
this is
35.
actually something I was talking to like my mother about a few months ago. I'm like, growing up in a military household because my old man is CWO4, the United States Navy, Vietnam vet, all that stuff. They prepared me for a lot of crap I'll probably never have to deal with. I'm like, Mom, you never even thought of the slight possibility of me having to deal with lunatics who lose their minds and try to ruin my life because I made fun of a toy. Like nobody even would have thought of that as a possibility, especially not back in like the '90s and the '80s when I was running around as a kid. Like never would ever think that. Maybe within the corporate structure, like a plan being leaked or something, but not you made fun of toy I like me Angie. Like holy crap, Lord.
That's crazy, dude. That's insane. That's Jesus. Oh god. I'm gonna
You want to trade
really.
Rogues Gallery sometime, Sin?
Oh fuck, we can compare, bro. You think you guys crazy. Well, actually, now I'm thinking about it. We should compare. That would be awesome, actually. I think we can get common ground on that too, I guess, or just bond over it or whatever the fuck. Cause
you
yeah,
you
I know
want
what
to
it's like. Like I got a guy from Sweden that's just hates me because why does IBB hate me? I don't know. It might have had to do with a Discord role or me talking to someone he doesn't like, but it doesn't make sense because he ends up like liking this guy in a month or two anyway. So yeah, this
Doesn't
guy's
he live
fucking
in?
insane too.
He
I
says he
got
lives in Sweden.
yeah, he lives in
You have some
Sweden.
of the highest quality of life. What's he pissed about?
I don't know, man. He stalks me. He's the IBB guy. He's the I Bully Bullies guy. I got some great
Oh,
clips
okay.
on him. Yeah, yeah.
So weird.
Yeah, no, he. You haven't even seen the clips yet. You
Well,
haven't even seen the
if you
clip.
want
Oh my
if you
god.
want to have
You
some
know what, Leo? He has a video. He had a video. He deleted it, but he had a video titled "Dora the Explorer makes me rock hard."
I want to die.
And that's not the only thing he's done that's suspicious. It's it's really weird. I think he also has said that fuck, what are the there's a lot. There's way too much. We'll go over that like some other times. I don't know how long I got you here, but it is a hoot and a holler. It is very
If you
funny.
if you
Um
ever want to have like the wildest stream of your life, you have got to bring on Smash Bandicoot sometime and just talk to him and see what he does. That dude's loony.
Smash Bandicoot. Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
I mean,
Um
he's a dirtbag. He sent porn to children and he like threatens people all the time. But just some of the responses we get from him. If he wasn't a scumbag, he'd be one of the funniest people to unleash in commentary. Like if you get him in a call, you got a tail flip of whether or not he's going to start insulting you or whether or not he's going to start trying to evangelize to you about how Donkey Kong is a god and you should
Somebody
respect
is gonna
Donkey.
You
fucking
ever
beat the
shut
fuck
up?
out of you
Oh.
for some of the stupid shit that you
I
fucking say.
actually did
Ask
find
Leo if he has
something.
heard of Mr.
Leo.
Cynical, the friend of flamenco.
I have this. This is one screenshot of I Bully Bullies. I'll put it in the DMs. Now, he is by Bitcoin now. This is who he is. So this was his hot take on pedophilia or 16 and 24-year-olds. The person says, right, so a 24-year-old flirting with a 16-year-old is weird, but not pedophilia. You're stupid. No wonder Steffi used you as a puppet. And I Bully Bullies, the Swedish guy, says correct. He doesn't think that a 24-year-old flirting with a 16-year-old is pedophilic. You have a
Absolutely
comment
can
on
be,
that?
and
Yeah.
it can absolutely be pedophilic because that's flirting. Do people not know what words mean now? Because flirting has a very specific connotation. Like, you don't. Whatever. That is dumb. That is dumb, and I hate how dumb it is.
Oh man,
Holy
it's not
crap.
the stupidest thing you said, and that's saying a lot. But yeah, this is the kind of guy that's in my rogues gallery is, so he is kind of stupid. So there you go. Leo. But to go back to something you said, it was the whole the pedophile losing its meaning kind of thing. Yeah, I agree with you on that. Basically, it's come to the point where people are just saying it as like the new "you're stupid," right? Or even just as a joke, like I guess a shock value joke would be it. It would be like, oh, I like they would be like, I'm a pedophile or something, and that the joke would be like, oh, oh, funny, kind of thing, right? I've seen this happen. Not to throw any shade at them, because I don't really dislike them, but it's Augie's RFC community. They do that like quite a bit. At least a couple people that I've seen in there. They just kind of make
Shame.
light of it and commentary somewhat as well. I'm not really ass mad about it or anything, but they do that. And I would think that it's because that, yeah, that's just the direction that the word, and I guess I don't want to say the culture, but like the way things have turned, that word is just used as a word basically. Now it's lost kind of its meaning and stuff.
Filler.
Yeah. Yeah, so that
Asinine.
that definitely has happened. I agree with you there. There's another thing though, and this is where we'll get to age gaps and what you think is appropriate personally. Because we kind of touched upon it with the Spockter thing, but we agree on that. This is the one where I think we'll disagree. I don't know, depending, but it's the Brion situation. I know you helped with a video regarding that, correct? Brion, what is okay? Because I know, for some reason I know I can trust you, because I don't think you seem like the type of guy that's gonna tell me it like it is and give me all the info and the facts on this. So what
Do my
is that
best, citizen.
situation? What is that situation?
Okay. First of all, I hope you're braced for stupidity because there's a lot of it in this case.
Okay.
Now,
I'm braced, man. I'm ready.
what happened, the events are that Kumo found information about Brion concerning Meowba, I believe it was. I can't remember the specific names. The girl that's like the CP distributor. It's not Meowba herself, it's somebody else.
I think her
the
name was
escaped me.
Tofu, wasn't it?
Tofu, yes, thank you. Sorry, this was back in like
No, that's
November
fine.
when that started, and things have happened since then.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened was he started beefing with Brion on YouTube, and then it went to Twitter. Brion, he says somebody gave it to him, but got a doctored screenshot of Kumo saying that he has a ton of CP. Kumo freaked out about it. Pretty obvious reasons. You know he's young. He doesn't know how to respond to stuff like that. And wound up getting a bunch of people on the server and started talking about how to deal with Brion. People were given independent sections. We actually argued a few times in VC about what he thinks versus what I think concerning this. And I told him the way I think he should have done this, or not should have done this. At the time, he hadn't done it yet, but I told him the way I think he should do the video, the big video he did, was yes, break people up in certain parts, have them handle it, but before you put it together, before you publish it, let's get them in Google Drives so everybody can look over them and make sure like we're all on the same page here. And I don't recall that happening at all.
Okay.
Because it got wound up getting delayed because multi-editing projects, it gets delayed all the time. I don't have, in my end, sufficient evidence to call Brion a pedophile. Now, Kumo's argument was he was interested in somebody underage, therefore pedophile. But number one, that's not how that word actually works. And secondly, that is, of course, Brion wound up losing his mind too, because the entire time this has been going on, Brion, instead of being a man and showing up and either taking his lumps or owning whoever's wrong about him, just sends person after person after person to go fight his battles for him. So
yeah,
he had I can't remember this dork's name, but he tried a literal LARP courtroom when Kumo wanted to talk to Brion. It was the dumbest thing I've seen in a long time, and that says something. After the video came out, Kumo was in Senate at the time, which is a server I run, and he wanted Brion to come in and argue because we allow that. And instead of Brion showing up with his own balls and fighting his own battles, he sends two other people to argue with Kumo, and then sends some other person whose screen name is Little Girl, who sounds like they're a baritone, who, first of all, talks about putting pike bombs in my mailbox, which is just
what the
adorable.
fuck? What
And-
the fuck?
And
Okay.
then talks about doxing Kumo and all this. They
Okay.
have their little argument, and the entire time it's just Brion trying to avoid any sort of confrontation, which, frankly, gonna go ahead and put this out here, I think is pussy nonsense. And if you're an adult, if you can fight and die for your country, you can get into a stupid little argument on Discord with somebody who's making accusations of you. And if you're not, then I'm gonna start looking at you a little harder, which is what I've been doing to Brion, because he hasn't come back in ever since Kumo was removed. And we know why that is on our end, because he's a pussy. But then we had after he got removed from Senate, Kumo wound up getting into the Doc on the Radio show, where he got clowned on for the obvious reasons. And then Brion got clowned on because somehow this brilliant man thought just because people were clowning on Kumo meant he would somehow, I guess, not have any shade thrown at him. So yeah, that entire situation was very troubling. And if I knew it was going to wind up like that, I probably would have demanded full control of the project.
Yeah, because okay, oh boy, my thing is that it's strange. Okay, I got another direct statement on what this was. Okay, this is by another person that helped, and I think is in your server as well. His name is Kumu or Kumo.
Kumu.
Yeah,
Yep,
Kumo. He gave me yeah, he gave me like a direct kind of I guess whatever the fuck this was like a TLDR of the situation, I guess. I trust his word over Kumo too. And I kind of put him on the same level. Although I did question him, like, what the fuck were you thinking? Like, this doesn't seem like something you would actually do. I've known you since the Kai Wee situation, and you seem more level-headed than this shit. Because he says, all right, I got the details. He was 18 and she was 15. He kept using the fact that he recently turned 18 and that she was going to be 16 soon as the defense. My main takeaway was he's really willing to say all this weird shit just to get info in a YouTube drama because he claimed that was his reasoning. Then he kept saying a crush didn't mean physical attraction, that and him knowingly using fake screenshot to respond to Kuma rather than ignore the nigga or directly beef. So that was his statement in the TLDR. What I understand, it's like a 2.5 age gap at that point, right? So if he had just turned 18 and she was about to turn 16, so that would be like what, 2.5, 1.5, I don't know, whatever. It doesn't seem like a Spockter situation to me, which is why I use the whole high school context thing, because his whole thing is that, oh, look, and it's so obnoxious the way he does it too. It's not even like really rational in any way. I think that's why the doc thing didn't even work for him. He's like, no, when you're 18, you're a full-grown man, and you are taking accountability for your actions. It's like, okay, so you can do everything. You can do everything a grown man does, right? You can drink alcohol too, right? And it's like, oh no, you can't, fucking idiot. That in itself is just like why this guy is so annoying and presumptuous. And then the whole thing with his self-harm shit came out, and that just like, I know why that was used against him, but in a way as well, it's like, you can't be this preachy, right? And then like end up, well, hey, my brilliant IQ idea was to get my friend to self-harm, and then like, the fucking recording came out. Yeah, and then that kind of a little bit contradicts what he was saying. So then what he was saying was, like, what I'm trying to say is that Brion and Kumo, they're kind of like, they're not really that much better than each other in their own ways. Because here's the thing with Brion as well. Even though I said, okay, it looks like this guy is just calling you a pedophile because he hates you or he doesn't like you. Because realistically, I don't think Brion's a pedophile. If anything, if I want to be the most uncharitable to him, I'd say he has the potential to be one, I guess. I don't know if they want to call me John Swan for saying that, but I just think based off of the way he acts, maybe he has the potential to be one, because it is a little weird, but at the same time, it's within their age gap. It's not really like, again, a Spockter situation, and he didn't get nudes or anything, right? But here's the thing that I don't like about Brion, and why I think that you guys calling him like a scumbag and shit like that, I kind of see it now. There was a situation with a guy named Zero Needs Coffee, and that situation was, fuck, I can get the did you hear about that situation?
The name sounds very familiar, but here's the thing. While I know some commentary people, I'm not so inundated in that circle that I know all the individual
I got the
so
direct I got the direct quote now, or the direct quote of the direct situation, kind of like this person said it. You quote unquote, you're defending Zero who got nudes from a minor. Stop leaving the ages out when you say that. Zero was 18 and the girl was 16. It's irresponsible, but I don't have any reason to care. So basically, like, people were trying to call Zero Needs Coffee a pedophile based off of that, because he had recently turned 18 and he got, I guess, nudes from a 16-year-old, which that is like a 2-year age gap at that point, almost like a 1. That is, I would even argue that's not as bad as Brion's case. And Brion, instead of like, oh, I've been in that scenario, bro, um, trying to understand, instead he fucking tries to join the mob against Zero. And I'm like, you of all fucking people should understand, like, you're number one, you're not in any fucking position to be calling anybody a pedophile. Number two, it's like, I thought you would understand this shit and actually call it out for what it is. So no, I think Brion is absolutely a fucking scumbag at this point because of that. I think Kumo's a scumbag in his own fucking right as well because he's fucking dishonest about most of the shit he does. Like the whole proclaiming, no, when you're 18, you are an adult. It's like, motherfucker, chill. You can't even fucking buy alcohol legally yet. If you were saying 21, I'd agree with you. Fuck, I'd even be generous and say 20, maybe even 19. 19, sure. But it's like the motherfucker had just turned 18 and the bitch is turning 16 or had turned 16. It's like, come on, bro. Like, it's everything about it seemed fake. Brion and Kumo to me seem like two sides of the same coin. They both seem fucking weird. They both seem like they have their own fucking issues, and they both seem fucking petty. They both seem petty as shit, and they're not above any of this moral fucking bullshit. In my opinion, the way I see it after all these events took place. I do think your segment was probably the best, but I wanted to confirm whether or not you thought legitimately that Brion was like a pedophile in the sense of he is a danger to children. Because I had seen the video as well, and Kumo was practically calling for the deplatforming of this guy in a sense because of the way he was framing his thing. It's like, this guy is a danger, and we need to tell everybody about it. Or whatever, right? That's the whole thing. That's what he was saying. I think he even said that for verbatim at one point. It's like, we need to let people know he's a danger. It's like, this motherfucker isn't a danger to kids, bro. Line Maker was a danger to fucking kids. Even fucking Mini Lad is a danger to kids. I don't think this Brion guy. I think Brion's a piece of shit, but I don't think he's a danger to kids. And I'm not gonna call him a legitimate. Like, I'm not making a legit video hit piece saying this guy's a predator or a pedophile. Maybe a predator. Maybe you can even make the argument that he's a predator. But a pedophile and a danger to kids, come on, bro. Like,
the only argument I'd have is I think he's probably more sketch simply because of the fact that he acknowledges that Tofu is a CP distributor and saw literally no issue with it when he was flirting with her. That's where I'm like, there's something actually wrong here, but I don't have enough sufficient evidence to list him as a predator. It's more of a, I really hope somebody's keeping an eye on this dude. Because I wouldn't be surprised. But I'm not going to make an accusation, like an actual accusation, without some substantial evidence. And currently I don't have that. I have evidence of him wanting to feed his dick. I have evidence of him not knowing how to speak to somebody and knowing when to keep his mouth shut and the quality of individuals he should pursue. But as far as age gaps goes, the issue with age gaps in terms of stuff like this primarily comes down to law, and I don't mean that is an age of consent. Obviously, that's a given. But what a lot of people who are underage don't recognize, because let's be honest, kids don't know law, and you've been in commentary, half of them don't know law either, and I'm being generous when I say half. It's illegal.
Yeah.
For you to send nudes to anyone or to receive nudes from anyone when the parties are underage.
Yes.
That, by law, is classified as possession and distribution of child pornography. And the reason why that is in law is because the laws are written by a bunch of old people who do not know that kids don't know law and think it'll be a good way to discourage the kids from doing that. Yeah. And on paper, maybe that's a good idea, but kids don't know law, so they do it anyways.
Yeah.
That's the problem you're going to get into. And it's why when I've had a situation where I found out that kids are sending nudes to each other, I pull them aside and say, knock it off. You need to knock this off, because if this winds up getting out to you guys, your lives are done.
Yeah.
You won't go on a sex offender registry. You won't be able to explain that to an employer. Knock it off.
Yeah.
If I have to go any further, I'll get a hold of your parents and have them make you knock it off.
Yeah,
that's what a lot of people
right.
seem to be missing when it comes to this stuff. So there are certain ways you deal with certain situations. If it's like a 2 or 3 year age gap, one's 18, one's 16, whatever, and a 16-year-old sending and the 18-year-old sending news to each other, you pull them aside and you explain to them, don't.
Yeah.
Don't, and here's why. Not because I don't understand that people have those urges and whatnot at those ages and that that's not normal in a relationship. No. I am a prude, but not to that extent.
Yeah.
But it's more of, if you guys wind up getting into legal issue with this, it's going to ruin your entire lives. and you don't want to ruin your life at 18 or 16. Okay?
Mhm.
So that's how it has to be taken. Not let's do an entire exposed video about a fairly normal thing happening and try to call somebody a pedophile over it. That's one of the ways the word loses its meaning and loses its actual impact. And I hate it when people do that because none of them are recognizing three-dimensionally that it's not just something on the internet. Whenever somebody is like on a high platform accused of this stuff, it's only a matter of minutes, if hours, that their personal information is put out there. And nobody thinks about that because they don't treat the people they cover like people, and they don't use their brains when they investigate things. Instead, they just put out what they think is going to get them clicks, and that's a problem.
Yeah. No, I mean I tied that in with the losing meaning thing because again, when you think pedophile, you would think like EDP, Lion Maker, that kind of stuff. Like EDP straight up said he wanted, like he's 30 or 30 something. He wants to have sex with a 13-year-old. Straight up, he said that. Then the thing with Brion, it just seems like it's being blown out of proportion in a little bit just for the sake of I don't like this guy. And again, I'm not gonna I ain't gonna try to defend Brion any more than I already had. I'm just pointing out like what it is because it was coming to a point where it was becoming really annoying. Kumo was coming into the voice chats trying to get people to defend him and to help him and shit. And at that point, that's when I'm like, okay, you're fucking annoying. Because even my mods were like, why the fuck is this guy coming into voice chat and trying to get us all to help him against this Brion dude who we don't even know who the fuck this guy is. It's like, I don't fucking know. He's annoying. So I'm annoyed with Brion. I'm annoyed with Kumo. I'm sick of both of them. I don't give a shit about either or. I think they're the same person, just different bullshit. And that's where I stand with this. And again, like the fact that Brion was instead of trying to defend this guy, for a 1 year age gap, right at most, or 2, 1.5 or whatever, who has a better look than him, by the way, is that just talks about his character and says so much about it. And that's like, goddamn, the people that were going after you, they might be like disingenuous assholes, but you're a piece of shit. you're not any better. I don't even know why you're fucking fighting with them. You guys should just team up at this point. Fucking hell.
Oof.
I don't yeah, well, that's fucking annoying. But the Senate, right? The Senate is your server.
Yes, it is.
And it is where you do your work, research.
No, believe it or not, the Senate, while it's gotten a reputation for it because I'm the head of it, it's not a predator hunting server. I tend to do that all independently. The server is literally what we call a barbarian server, for lack of better word, because a lot of Discord servers, they go one of two ways. Either they're so squeaky clean in what they permit and don't permit in terms of argumentation and comments that they're obnoxious and you might as well be at Super Weenie Hut Jr., or they're so edgy they're essentially a pizza cutter. They're all edge and no point. Send it somewhere in the middle to where you can get in call and you can hash out your problems because we do not tolerate people like doing cloak and dagger nonsense or talking trash behind each other's back. No, if you got a problem, you're going to get in call and you're going to deal with it. At the same time, if you're stupid and you do dumb things, you're going to get dragged. In fact, we had an issue this past Thursday where one of our members, somebody had come to us about them being inappropriate in DMs. And when I say inappropriate in DMs, I don't mean like the occasional offshoot or whatnot, because you got a lot of people on the spectrum that come on Discord. They're socially awkward. We try to let that factor in if we're dealing with somebody like that. But no, this dude's going around talking about how he can tell when people have been groomed. He's getting sexual with people, even though he's been told to stop. So how do we handle him? Did we just ban him immediately? No, we pulled him in call. We got him to answer questions we had about it. We made him look at the nonsense he did. We tore into him, and then we kicked him out. You get stupid, you get dragged.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot more about the Senate recently. Jar kind of told me a little bit too, but then they have
Jar there.
yeah. No, then I heard like they're like these things over here. Like I'll read this right now. By like commenters, they say you should look into the Art CC's community called the Senate, the server called the Senate. It's currently self-imploding as all of the more popular members are being exposed for dark stuff. Coyote Lovely was discovered flirting with Zappo and into Zoophile stuff. Leo is being exposed for grooming underage users in his server and convincing one to quit high school and live with him. Also, his Kiwi Farms post exposing his other behavior. Even Hopeless Peaches... Fucking hell. This is a fucking mouthful. Even Hopeless Peaches bullying mentally ill teens and is encouraging Lio's grooming of teens and doing age play as his daughter. Another member was caught telling a mentally ill teen from the Senate to cut his name onto her leg. That place is dangerous towards teens and more people should know. Just a robot left it for a reason.
Yeah, actually, Jar's the one who told me about that comment.
Yeah.
Jar's still in Senate.
So
No grooming going there that I'm aware of.
so do you, like, if you're going to address this comment, is there like what's up with this comment? I guess that's what I
4
got.
words. Citation needed, evidence required.
Yeah, because this is a lot of stuff, man. Like, what the fuck are these? What is this shit? Like,
Few things. Coyote was exposed for doing really dumb gay ops, quote unquote gay ops. That's the best word we have for it, for Sappho, or against Sappho rather. I don't know, man. I figured if I groom somebody, I'd know, but no. All of my found family are literally adults. It's one of those dumb comments that comes from that Kiwi Farms thread written by the crazy dude who's mad about G.I. Joe toys that doesn't actually look in any of it, just takes what he says like as gospel and runs with it. It is the dumbest thing in the world. To answer Ty Ironclaw, I don't have any evidence that he is a zoophile. I just have evidence that he had ERPs and hypnotist sessions with one. Period. We have a zero tolerance policy. If you do nonsense like that, or if we find out you're talking to one of these creeps, you're gone, and you're gone immediately.
Funny enough, Kiwi Farms is actually down right now, according to.
You have to use a Tor browser to access it.
Oh no, it was back up in like the general, like without Tor, a while
Really?
back. Yeah, it came back, and I guess it's down again. I don't know what the fuck is happening. It's down, it's back up, it's down, it's back up. Like now it's only on Tor. It's weird, man.
Real quick to address Sadler Resident Evil 4. Actually, no. The person Brion got to cut themselves has never been in Senate. Like never.
Huh.
And Gigi Evans said, ask Lio if he's heard of Mr. Cynical,
Yes.
friend of Flamenco. I don't know that person at all.
Yeah, I knew that was going to be your response, which is why I was holding on to it. But I guess a TLDR of who that is Mr. Cynical. Maybe you would want to look into that. I don't know. He's a guy that apparently went to Taiwan, or was it some other country where the age of consent was 13, to have sex with a...
Is that the same person as Rika Fag?
Yes, that's him.
Oh my god. I know that person.
Oh,
You want a fun story?
oh,
Give you
sure.
A real fun story.
Sure.
Okay, so years ago when I was doing predator busting around the bronies because I didn't know what they were doing, there was an individual I would hang around named Sheldon, and Sheldon would do these streams sometimes where he would like try to analyze people's stuff. And one day he decided to do a live stream reaction to Rika's pro lolicon video and brought Rika on. And I triggered Rika so badly they wound up punching their own desk out of frustration.
Wow.
Because essentially I just started making fun of them and telling them like just logically how I think they're nonsense. Like, I addressed all this in my video. Have you watched my video? I actually, no, I've been addressing the stream this whole time. I haven't cared dick all about your video. That dude lost his mind.
Oh my god. Yeah, that guy's a freak.
Oh yeah, like of course he's a freak. He's a lolicon.
Like I'm not even like just the going to Taiwan thing to have sex with a minor though. I'm mostly focusing on that aspect, which was I think there was even a leak audio call that came out about
where
that.
he was talking about how mad it made him that they were making fun of him for having a tiny dick.
Yeah, it's Jesus Christ. But it's like, what do you think of that though?
What I think of that is that I sincerely hope he gets into a single person auto accident. I've gotten very creative about telling people to do that when YouTube won't allow it, so don't worry.
Like oh, that's good, thank you. But the thing is, like, the idea that there exists individuals that want they travel to countries where this shit is quote unquote legal so that they can get away with it is disgusting. It's I want to say it's a little inhumane, and
Just use the right words, then it's evil.
it is evil too. Like how and how do you have no shame when you touch back on U.S. soil and you're like, oh yeah, well hey buddy, I just did that. It's like, oh my god, like why?
By never once having anybody in your life that you know would strangle the life out of you if they found out who you and what you were. That's how.
Like that shit is just like damn. Like what do you like? What can you do with that though? Because that's the thing though. Because he did something that quote unquote illegally for whatever the fuck that's worth in those places. It's the age of consent though. Like it's like fucked up, right? Is it not? How
No, it absolutely is. It's grossly immoral. And I said what I said, and I meant what I meant when I said about him in a single person auto accident. I hope it happens soon.
yeah, I mean there has to be a line drawn, and that's I think that's why people also take to again, not your line of work per se, but like doing I guess what you do, because yeah, sometimes the law can't really, like, the law isn't perfect and it can't really you know get
It
people
doesn't have
like,
eyes everywhere. And
yeah.
unfortunately, kids aren't taught by their parents a proper online safety. I actually done 2 streams about it, one for an online convention and one just on or actually both for online conventions. One was just a smaller one, because especially the last one, which was IconicCon a couple years ago, ran by my friend Michael at Retro Blasting. Uh, before I did any commentary stuff, my age stuff on my channel analytics was always like 30 and up, and I was really proud of that. And then I did some commentary videos and screwed all that up. But I wanted to inform people my age and older what their kids are dealing with because they don't know. Parents don't know dick all about Discord. They don't know who their kids are talking to because back when I was a kid, what was the golden rule? Well, you don't talk to people you don't know on the internet. Give them personal information. You don't have private conversation with them. Well, why'd they say that? For the obvious reasons. Of course, pedophiles exist, predators exist, and our parents didn't want us to deal with that. But as the internet has become more common, people have determined somehow that it's safer. It's kind of like living next to a very angry dog. And when you first move in there, like every time that dog runs to the fence, you jump a little bit. But when you're there a year or 2 years, like the dog's not even a concern. You kind of block it completely out. And that's the way we've gotten to the internet, especially considering it's in everybody's lives at this point. It's in our pockets, which was unheard of back when I was a kid, to where they think it's defanged, but no, it isn't. It still has plenty of venom, and you've just got to adjust how to deal with that. So I told people, you can't be a totalitarian because that'll just teach your kids how to lie better. Instead, just try to make sure you have an open conversation with your kid. Make sure they know they can trust you. Make sure they know you're safe to go to. Because sometimes when I've dealt with kids and I'm trying to get them to go to their parents, what are they worried about? They're worried their parents are going to be mad at them. And that is the natural reaction of parents. But not because, if it's a good parent, not because they're mad at the kid, but because they're mad what's gone on. They're mad what's been done to their kid. And they need an outlet for that. And that's why I tell parents you have to be aware that when this happens to your kid, not when, but like if it happens to your kid, you're going to be angry, but don't get angry with them.
Mm.
Be angry at the person who hurt your kid, because that's hard for parents sometimes, especially when you tell them over and over again, don't do X, don't do Y, and they turn around and do it anyways, right? So you have to put that anger in a bag, address it later. You have to put the anger towards who it needs to go to, the person who harmed your kid. Because I've unfortunately had one specific case years ago where we exposed somebody for preying on a person who was underage at the time it happened. They had since become an adult. Their mother found out about it, because again, we found out about when they were an adult, and the mother was so butthurt that this happened under her roof that instead of going at it with the predator, she sided with him.
What the fuck?
Because she was upset that people were calling her parenting into questioning.
Oh my god, are you kidding me? That's so fucking stupid.
I wish to God I was.
What the fuck?
I don't see. Everybody likes to talk about how I get angry and how I yell and Lio overreacts. These people haven't heard me like actually angry. That when I had a call with that person's mother, You want to hear anger, you'll hear anger there. I didn't record it. Oh, I said some things.
Yeah.
Who does that, man? Who does that to their kid?
That is pretty fucked up, but you know what? There are fucked up people in the world. And you know what I believe? I believe that happens more often than you would think, right? Because I mean, when you first hear that, it's like there's no fucking way, right? But then really think about it, it's like, you know what? Yeah, there are a lot of fucked up people in the world. I can see that. Yeah, seems about right. Some people are just really not fit to be parents. I think is the main
Yeah.
takeaway, right? Like,
What's the
holy
saying? Every kid
shit.
deserves a parent, but not every parent deserves a kid.
Yes, that is indeed a saying. I think that you, at least on the internet, from what I've gotten, I've seen, and from what I've gotten from this interview so far, is like you really do like maybe in a sense mentoring or setting individuals in the right direction, and some of those people are, I would assume they're not all young adults, right? Uh,
More often than not, they tend to go between the ages of 30 and like 20.
yeah.
There are times I've mentored people who are a little older, people who are a little younger, but when it comes to people under the age of 18, my first response to them is always go to your parents.
Mm.
I've had some go up. It's like, Lio, what about love? Go to your parents.
Yeah.
What do you think about how do I approach this girl? Go ask your dad.
Yeah.
Like there, and we have a difference on the internet that we've created, a fallacious one, of treating everyone like they're adults and not recognizing when there's kids around and adjusting how you talk based on that. And that's created a whole hodgepodge of bad things to happen. So you have adults that say things to kids through the internet that they never would to a real kid that's in front of them at the time. So I think that when you're dealing with younger people, whether they be children or whether they be younger and adults, if you're older, you should have the life experience to try to point them in the right direction. Now, so in my experience, 9 times out of 10, they're going to be stupid and not listen. I got an entire little laundry list of that's happened the past year. But the important thing is to try. And if they don't put the effort in, if they don't want to listen, if they don't want to heed what little wisdom you might have, then you can't continue to go on. As I made very clear in my videos, I'm a Bible thumper, and the book says, "Don't cast your pearls before swine." Sometimes you have to shake the dust off your feet and keep walking.
Mm.
And I've had to do that with a lot of people recently because they just don't learn.
I see a lot of people call you like a groomer because of the groomer, and where do these, like, I guess, accusations or whatever, where do they come from? Where do they stem from?
That lunatic on 4chan.
It's just him?
It is him, and it was one other person who went by the moniker, and it's not the same one that dicked with Jar, because unfortunately this is a common screen name, Fluffy. So there was somebody who was harassing a member of our staff, and her name is Fluffy, the person doing harassing. We messed with her a little bit. And there was somebody that, this is the person who lives with me currently, who I was trying to help through a terrible situation in their life. And Fluffy went to them and tried to get specific questions answered in the most disingenuous way possible. Because I made fun of Fluffy, Fluffy decided to go out and start calling me a child predator,
Huh.
calling me a groomer because I hurt their feelings. And at some point, I'm going to have to address that all publicly, especially when I respond to the dirtbag Carmen writer because she's running around with 4chan accusations as though they mean anything. And I only want to address it once because I'm tired of hearing it. Where I actually dragged Fluffy into a call, got in her face, and made her admit the exact reason why she did it. And that's because I made her mad. Not because she has a concern or because she actually cares. And that's the main theme you're going to see through this. I've told these people this, and they're still too stupid to recognize it. If you're sitting there calling me a predator or a groomer and you're making fun of the people you're claiming are my victims, nobody's going to believe you. Because that tells everybody that it's not because you actually believe it, it's because you're mad at me. It's also why you're never going to find evidence for it because it doesn't exist. Anybody in my found family is an adult, and there's certainly nothing sexual going on there. The only person I have sexual feelings for is my wife.
All right.
And this lunatic SEN has gotten so obsessed with trying to push this. The idiot literally made a fake Instagram, and flirted with a child.
What the fuck? What the fuck? Oh god. Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
He took the profile picture from my Twitter took my Twitter name, Lio Man Bad, which that's the
Oh
only place I'm
boy.
known as that, and Discord, because everywhere else I'm Lio Convoy, and then put pronouns in my bio, which is something I've never done,
Oh
and
boy.
then started hitting on random underage Instagram models. I'm like, how in no, that's just
Fucking
like say
hell.
what you will about messing with me, but that's just how evil are you?
That's
That you're so
so
mad over that you hit on literal children, you monster.
that's so stupid. What the who this is the wait, this was the 35-year-old still?
Mm-hmm.
My god.
Either the 35-year-old or one of the other idiots he's gotten to collude with
Oh
because I
my
made them
god.
mad for other dumb things. And you know what? I would love for once, and for once, does someone have a legitimate issue with me that they're actually angry about that has any weight to it, and it never is. It's always he yelled at me because I did something stupid, or he made fun of the action figures I like, or he bodied me in a debate. It's always one of these three things. It's never anything I've actually done that's worth merit that has a good reason for people to hate me.
Yeah, I saw recently on your Twitter one of those people, I think his name was Casware Fox, and
Yep.
I read this article at the beginning of the stream. First of all, how accurate is that article or that, TLDR excerpt of whatever the fuck was going on?
Okay, so Medicare Fembot is somebody who's known Cass for a long time. She's not really up to date on everything because I don't think she actually cares other than just watching fireworks. There is a lot more to it. I'm working on a part two to my video because one thing she didn't include in her post is the addendum I did. Because when I first did my video on Cass, there were things that I got that were incorrect. Not because I put it out there falsely or intended to deceive, it's because new information had surfaced afterwards. So I put out an addendum because I'm the type of man that if I screw up, I'm going to address it and I'm going to be accountable for it. I'm not going to sit here and say it's anybody else's fault. So I put that out. That wasn't included in the thread. The actual truth of the matter is, and you can actually download the logs that I posted on my community tab. Cast War Fox has had an issue with my community for at least a year now, and nobody knows why. And I do mean literally nobody. You ask any member of his staff that I've talked to, they all have different reasons. They all have different answers they were given. So I don't know the actual reason why he hates me or my staff. But a year ago, that first video in that thread was the Coyote Lovely video that Gilded Pooh did back in August. Cass was behind that video. I have an entire group chat that was given to me that was exported of Cass giving Gilded information from the farms and trying to get him to call, or essentially being okay with Gilded calling Coyote a pedophile with no evidence. A member of their server named Kurova talking about how they want to hand doxes of Senate members off to a offending pedophile.
Okay.
Unprompted.
What the fuck?
All this sorts of really screwed up stuff. And this is from a community whose leader is supposed to be a predator hunter. So Cass has been exposed for essentially doing this as a hobby, being more concerned with clout, and never actually having a legitimate reason to be obsessed with me because they've apparently been trying to run gay ops on me for the better part of a year. And every time they wind up coming up dry, because here's the truth of the matter, and here's a scoop to your audience here. Unless I'm yelling at a degenerate, I'm very, very boring.
Yeah.
I'm a very boring human being. I go to work, I work 60 hours a week, and I do whatever I need to online. If you want to make fun of me because I yell at people, I don't care. I'm 37. You don't live in my house. But Cass's crew, when my first video came out, went into complete and utter like bedlam. They're still scrambling to find dirt. They're still failing to find dirt. And instead, whenever we find something about one of their members, they just double down to defend them. And
Yeah.
that doc on me is one of the funniest pieces of fiction I've ever read in my entire life.
Yeah, I heard it was really fucking bad. That's one of the
I did an
consistent
entire
things I
stream on
heard.
it.
It was so bad. I'm like, somebody told me in commentary, in fact, he's like, "Do you want to go over this, or are you gonna go over this?" And I was like, "Nah, not really." I just heard across the board, it's just a bad document, and I'm like, I can't be fucked. And yeah, it's kind of like with the when I dropped off the Brion situation to them, and I'm like, I personally just think it's a nothing burger. I don't know, maybe you guys will think it's something. They're like, no, it kind of seems like stupid, and I'm like, yeah, well, it's like one of those things where it's like, yeah, I'm not really in any rush. It's not, again, it's not like a lion maker situation. It's not something this, and even more to the point, this is clearly a bunch of people that just don't like you, that are just trying to smear you. I mean, if they can't make it any more fucking obvious, they're not subtle about this shit, Like it's so
Yeah,
fucking
the
obvious.
sad thing is, Cass and that doc creator both think it's a good, solid document.
How big are these guys as creators?
They're not. Cass is sitting at 1.7K
Boy.
subs.
Okay.
And here's a fun thing. Cass's community calls themselves blood sports people, right?
Oh boy.
Every single one of them scared to come into a call with me.
How are they blood sport people if they're led by a fucking furry? Like, no offense, Leo.
Well,
I don't know
here's
if
the
you,
kicker.
I don't
I'm
know
gonna
if
show
you're
you
a
something.
furry or not. But
I'm not. My screen name comes from Japanese transformer named Lio Convoy.
Oh, okay.
I'm
Okay.
not a furry. I wear the mask because I think it's hilarious and god awful. Heck no. So let me see if I can find a specific thing that you will get a kick out of that I mentioned slightly in my video, but I think it's one of those, you blink and you miss it. So let me find a screen cap here of what I'm referring to. Where did I put the
What the fuck?
folder?
I was just
Fox
reading this.
Mafia.
I'm reading this guy's description. Just a warmongering fox on the internet, owner and host of the What? What? You're not. You're a blood sports guy. You guys are blood sports guys. Shut the fuck up. Come on.
They're
Really?
very blood sports. That's why every time I try to get one of these idiots in calls, they puss out. I've
Oh,
given Cass
God.
2 separate instances to show up in a group chat or in a quote unquote neutral third party server. Both times he pussed out. And the last time, and he didn't think we knew, he was in a call with the rest of his goons, and it's all recorded. This isn't worth my time. Lio said something mean about me. Are you kidding me? These alleged blood sports people are scared of some old man. And not just that, if you're gonna tell me you're into blood sports, dude, where are your balls?
Yeah,
I'm sorry
seriously.
if you're scared. The truth
Bro,
is they know they're gonna get
Brion went into a fucking call for blood sports before these people. That's fucking sad. What the fuck? Fucking
embarrassing. I'm
Brion.
trying to find the Discord tag because it has a very specific role to it that I think you're gonna get a good old giggle over. So let me. Did I put it in this folder?
Oh, by the way, my mod does have a question. It said, "Isn't Medicare Fembot in Rogue Internet Man's crowd?"
I don't know. I keep hearing the name Rogue Internet Man, and I know very little about him other than the fact that he's like follows lol cows. And my personal value of anybody who obsesses over lol cows is they're probably just troll shielding. All right, so this is, and you can put this on screen if you want. This is Cass's second in command, who's been trying his best to bait me, put out quote unquote breadcrumbs for the Kiwis to do his bidding for him.
Oh, this guy. You tagged him on the tweet that I was looking at.
Oh, unquestionably. But take a look at the second to last role on his list.
Second to last. Where? Here? Oh, fuck. I should probably share screen this, but it says I'll just go from the top. Underboss, Soldier Fox, Booster of the Fox Den, Officer. I don't even know what the Capo Regime. Hunter.
Capo regime.
Capo Regime. Fuck. Can't do big words. Hunter, friend of the Fox, YouTuber, Den veteran, Den citizen, collaborator, guest, NSFW. Is that the one?
No.
Meme Lord, Discipline of Medicare. That?
Disciple of
Oh,
Medicare.
I thought it was Discipline for a second. Disciple of Medicare. How many fucking subs does this guy have?
3K, I think. But the point is, this dude is actually a furry. So are most people in his crew. Have you ever heard of a disciple of Medicare that's a furry? Or even the idea of calling yourself a disciple of Medicare? If Jim was around, and I try not to speak for other people, but I look at this, I'm like, Jim would make fun of all of us.
Yeah, this would actually be kind of cringe. Yeah, I mean, honestly, this guy falls more in line with flamenco than Medicare, if anything. So he can take that. They're both 30 as well, so they both are into like animals, that kind of shit. They both like Medicare as well, so maybe they should team up. I don't know. It's this is I gotta Leo. These people, Leo. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna go over the Leo part for a while, but Leo. This is these people are weird, and these people seem like. I'm speechless. I don't know what to say about them. They're just they're there. They're fucking there.
And here's the kicker. They talked about their blood sports, they talked about how tough they are, and every single one of them scared to come into my server. They've like nuked their old one. I'm guessing they're probably in a new one where they're talking mad trash. That person who made the doc was supposed to come into the server. to talk with me and bring her daddy with her.
What the fuck? Oh, wait a minute. Is this hello, everyone? I want you all to take a good look at this document. This will go into detail about Lio and his Senate server in terms of their knowing about Coyote Lovely and Lio's attempt at doxing me. Isn't this the thing I heard about,
That's
like
the doc.
a
That's the
nickname?
doc.
Yeah, no,
Yes,
something about
apparently
like
because they linked in one of their other profiles to a YouTube account they had. This name was Rocky, and I called them Rocky. So therefore, somehow this person, in their brilliance, thought that must mean two things. Number one, that I have their real information, and two, that I somehow used a program to get access to all their accounts.
oh my god. Oh my
Now, I don't
god.
know if you've seen some of my videos, Sim, but do I seem like somebody technically or technologically literate enough to even make something like that? Because the answer is no. I'm a monkey with a supercomputer. I'm lucky to know how to turn the doggone thing on half the time. They think an IP grabber, a few times I've even had to use one, can magically give people 100% information about everything you do because they're just that dumb. These people don't live in reality. Before she made this doc, her best responses to me were like Alucard gifts from Hellsing, the anime.
What the fuck? This person's
These people are
23.
these people are a bunch of anime weeaboo larper weirdos.
Uh,
Here's the thing: this current war, quote unquote, going on. You know what it's about?
what?
Ultimately, Hopeless Peach is criticized Cass Warfox for in 80 seconds worth of content
Nice.
in an hour and 6 minute long video, and Cass lost his mind about it because the little stupid boy can't handle criticism.
How old is this guy?
27.
You call him a boy, but that's kind of, it should be a grown man. What the fuck? 23-year-olds, 27-year-olds,
click on her
30
profile
years
and then go to her banner. It's the funniest thing in the world.
Oh god, there's not any SFW in her tweets, is there?
No, I'm not asking you to look there. I'm just talking about like her Twitter banner.
They seem
Yeah,
like the
good keep going.
type. What the fuck is this? Is that fucking Bowsette or some shit? What is this shit?
Oh, that's her OC with fiery
Oh
anger. She's
boy.
gonna rain vengeance down on me.
Oh great. Oh god, this is so cringe, Lio. This is like worse than fucking Weebor's cringe. This is bad.
What is it? What is it Voltaire said? I have but one prayer to God. If I have enemies, make them foolish. Something along that line. Or ridiculous. So yeah. I actually went on to Slug's stream
Yeah,
a couple
yeah.
weeks ago and we talked about this. And then we wound up talking about Transformers because they're both horribly massive nerds. But nobody that's looked at this doc other than the Kiwi farmers that are literally part of Cass's crew think there's any legitimacy to it. They think it's the dumbest thing in the world.
Yeah. I
I
heard a
hope she
little
makes
bit
more
of
of them.
that. I did. I heard a little bit of that. I mean, that's part of the reason why I didn't want to fucking cover it too, because it's like, this is so stupid. And you can call it a mile away what it is. It's just a sad attempt at like trying to get something to stick for you, they don't like you. It's kind of like the same fucking reason I had an issue with like the Kumo thing and the Brion thing, because it's like, it's so obvious to me. It's like, you guys are just like, this is stupid. At the very fucking least, just say, yeah, we're being hyperbolic and we're being douchebags about it, because we don't like this person. That's it. But you can't even
Well, the
fucking
thing
do
is,
that.
here's the kicker. I've never done anything to these people.
Yeah, yeah.
And
just...
they've made constant comments about my family. One of them literally said that I should sexually assault Peaches.
Oh my god.
These people are everything you think when you think the word furry. They are weird, deranged, sexual degenerates. They are mentally stunted half-wits. None of them have real lives or real family or anything like that. If any of them breed, I feel very badly for whatever kids they may have.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And the worst thing is these people, with all their alleged people behind them, can't deal with some old man that plays with action figures.
This is really fucked up. Wait, they said that you should what, rape hopeless Peaches? What?
Specifically, their server member Fursky Doodle did, and then got really mad when I brought that up in my video on them.
Who are these people, man? Where did they come from? What the fuck?
Well, I can tell you that, but some of these people I don't know where they come from because I only recently came back into Cass's server in January, I believe, before all this kicked off and before I saw how bad things had gotten. I met Cass in 2020, back when the Zoophile Police Twitter account got restructured. Actually, 2019 got restructured because the person who was running it beforehand, I found out, was actually a 16-year-old.
Mm.
Posing as a 27-year-old woman and using her mom's ID to
Oh
have
boy.
sexual communications with people.
What the fuck, dude? What the fuck? What happens on the internet? This is.
I don't know, but real quick in relation to Fursky Doodle. So, you know who Doodle Tones is, right?
Yeah, I've heard the name.
All right, and you know how people on Medicare's side of the internet gave her the nickname Doodle Diapers, right?
Yes.
Fursky here has an alt account. This name is Diaper Doodle, and I'm going to make it stick as hard as I possibly
What
can.
the fuck? What
I told
fuck?
Susie Doodle Tones, I'm going to take that crown, I'm going to stick it right on top of Fursky. You won't have to worry about that name anymore if this works.
Oh my god. Wow. I'm kind of blown away by this shit because it was at first I thought it was just gonna be like, oh, it's just a beef with a furry that you have because they don't like you. But this, it feels like we hit a rabbit hole where it's like, holy shit, these people are fucking
Like,
freaks. What the fuck is
dude,
happening, bro?
When that second video on these people comes out, man, you're gonna want to pay attention because even if it's just for popcorn, because it gets ridiculous. Like the things these people have done, the nonsense they pulled that the greater public isn't aware of. These people never should have been trusted with. These people shouldn't be trusted as like a janitor, and certainly not a town dog catcher, because half these people don't recognize maybe your porn shouldn't have animal genitals in it.
Yeah, that would probably be a good idea. Oh my
It's
god. This is, I mean, look, honestly, if anything, this makes me want to, like, definitely watch your video. When did you say it's going to come out?
I'm not really sure the exact time frame, and I try not to say it publicly because I don't want them to know when it's going to hit until it's
Right. Yeah.
But soon, to say the least, soon.
Okay, yeah, because now I'm actually, I'm kind of like hyped for it a little bit because I want to know. You kind of got me intrigued, and it seems like, again, a rabbit hole, and it feels like it's gonna be like kind of fucked up, but kind of funny as well. Like, yeah. So I definitely want to, watch it. Right. What,
Here,
what do
I'll
you
give you-
what
I'll
are you
give you a-
thinking the length is gonna be? Like an hour, just about, or
I
less?
have no idea, man. But I will say, if you want something really funny, one of the people involved in this is somebody by the name of Cedric Huffman. And he is an avid kiwi farmer. His response to anybody he doesn't like is to try to make a threat on them.
Oh
Right.
boy.
He is a conspiracy theorist who, instead of getting information by talking to people, just assumes things. And here's what he has decided I am. That number one, I'm trying to appeal to the anti-furry crowd because I make fun of furries.
Yeah.
Two, that Senate is my own personal kiwi farms. Which
Okay. Like,
no.
okay.
Third is that I am in league, Sin. I have created my own Legion of Doom. And the Lex Luthor of my Legion of Doom is Null from Kiwi Farms.
What?
He thinks I know Null and that I'm conspiring with him and other farmers.
Okay, yeah, this guy's a fucking idiot. What the fuck?
He is, and here's the thing. I took shots at him in my first video because I found out he was following, like, feral artists on Fur Affinity, essentially people who draw, like, actual animals doing the deeds to each other.
Yeah.
And by the values of that group, that means he should have been thrown out.
Mm-hmm.
But he wasn't. And here's the kicker. When Vlad, Gilded Poo, when I did my video and exposed the fact that he had zoophile porn on his hard drive, Cedric lost his mind that he got banned from Cass's server and went on some ridiculous tirade talking about how everybody should kill themselves. And I sat here thinking, this stupid boy didn't pay attention to a word I said. Because now you make yourself sound worse. First, I point out the fact that you're following people that, have things you shouldn't be following them on. And now you're mad at somebody who had bestiality porn removed from the server. Do you realize how dumb this makes you look and how skeptical people are going to be of you now, even more than they already were? Like, are you really that dumb? Yes, you are that dumb. I'm sorry. This is the guy who, in the church parking lot, sat there slinging slurs and saying nonsense during the Coyote stream, because that's what a Christian does.
Huh.
These people, man.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that's a good way to end it. These people. Lio, We've been going for about 2 hours. Jesus, this was a really fun combo. I think you're gonna have more things to talk about in the future.
I'm sure.
Yeah, hopefully I get you on again because this was a fun combo. I don't again. I've never spoken to you before. I really did have all these questions because I see a lot of your tweets. I see a lot of these people getting angry at you too, and you taught me about rabbit holes today I didn't even know existed. So that's
I will
great.
say I do know one reason why a lot of people don't like me, and I'll say this, and that'll essentially be my ending cap on the stream. When it comes to people who follow commentary, there is a large swath of people who are very used to very sterile environment where nobody reacts in an emotionally charged way to anything. So in a way, when they hear somebody covering egregious things and they're angry, it upsets them because they see that as a negative emotion and they don't want to deal with it. And those people, unless they are children, need to grow up. Because if
Yeah.
you can't react negatively to terrible things, I don't mean stupid internet crap. I mean terrible things. And there's something wrong with you. I'm not the problem there.
Yep, I agree. But at the end of the day, at least it makes for good content or interesting backstories. These because again, Kaz, these people like these guys are all freaks, man. But they're like they seem like the types of spurgs that are just gonna spurg out in any little thing, and that they're just gonna oh man, they're like little I don't know. Like little beats of content that I mean you're making a video and I'm excited for it, so that's the I guess kind of appeal in that. But Lio, fuck, I'll get it right one day. Lio,
You will
thanks
one day, don't worry.
for coming by, man. Really fun
Anytime.
talking to
Thanks
you.
for having me. You've been a good host.
Of course, my dude. Thank you. Appreciate it. I'll talk to you later, all right?
Take it easy, man.
Have a good one. Good night. Well, that was a fun combo. See, this is why I like the interviews, man. Like, again, laughing at like freaks like the ones that Lyle talked about. Like that's fun. I like that. Fighting for people like Quiet who were wrongfully accused. I like that too. But this whole interview thing is fun. It's fun talking to people, like new different types of people and getting to know them directly, not through any Kiwi Farms thread, not through any gossip, not through any hearsay, but actually talking to the person is like one of those things. It's fun. It's a fun experience. So I look forward to doing more of these in the future. I hope you enjoyed this one. I'm going to get ready to wrap it up, but thank you everybody who donated. Thanks everybody for stopping by to this impromptu live stream, last minute kind of thing as per usual. I'll see you all in the next one. So have a good rest of your night wherever you guys are.